Today's video is basically the power of the influencers or the YouTubers, what power they have over consumers, especially photographer consumers. It seems that we're a gullible bunch. And, I know camera companies are trying to make better and better and better cameras. And when they have to, otherwise they're going to go out of business. If they don't upgrade, we don't have to upgrade. We don't feel the need to upgrade, and quite honestly, there are pro photographers doing, pro jobs that are getting paid $150,000 for their jobs. Not many, but they're out there that are using the same camera they've been using for the past 5 years, 10 years. Because it works for them, they don't have to worry about it. And YouTube and other social media platforms relies on amateurs or just starting out professionals to watch videos, to see the new products, to say, you can't do what you want to do without this new camera. And it started off last night when I was just buzzing through and I saw someone say, this new Sony A7R5 is, the greatest thing since sliced bread. It does everything so incredibly well, but it's so uninspiring to go out and shoot because you don't have to do anything anymore, which, you really don't. I mean, the new autofocus systems and cameras, you can literally just go like this and get the photos you want. And so many photographers shoot 3,000 photos at a wedding. It's mind-boggling to me. And literally it's just spray and pray kind of stuff, which, fine. If you're making a living, who cares? But where that's concerned, and the next step that took is, obviously the next video was a recommendation on the same camera, someone reviewing the same camera. And this was a comparison to a Canon, I believe. And the specs on the A7R5 are impressive. And I used to shoot with an A7R3, and I had the A7R4 for a short time. The reason I got rid of the A7R4 was because of the striping, the phase detect striping. I couldn't stand it. It was driving me nuts. It's a vertical stripe that's caused by the phase detect overlay on the sensor. And if you have a little bit of backlight, it's there. If you go up to a higher ISO and have a little bit of backlight, it's blatant. Anyway, so he was doing this test, and then he went to the ISO test, and he started, when he got to 800, I saw banding. When he went to 1600, it was blatant banding. And I'm waiting for him to say something, because he was saying, hey, the grain's not bad at 1600 or 3200, and he just completely ignored the banding, and you could see it on the YouTube video. It was just like so in your face, and I'm thinking, you're not gonna, so I'm thinking, okay, well at the end he never mentioned it. And I actually enjoy his videos, don't get me wrong. He actually does great videos on comparing this camera to that camera, or, whatever. And, for the fact that he just glazed over that like it didn't exist, it was just shocking to me. Now, I believe the Canon had a little bit, but it wasn't that bad. But since the Sony had much better autofocus and a little bit better dynamic range, it was the better camera, ignoring the giant stripes going through the back of it. But that brought me to that whole, the power that YouTubers or influencers or whatever you want to call them have on this market, because many of them don't get paid. They just get to borrow the equipment, and then they make money off of the YouTube views or whatever. And it brought me back to the C1 Plus, which this was like a perfectly orchestrated release of YouTube videos and content creators singing its praises. And was this innovative? Yes, it was absolutely innovative. It wasn't the first. Believe it or not, I believe Kodak had the very first integration to iPhone. It was a little device that you connected to the Godox lights and then connected to their app, and it would make the lights flash. And I think that was the very first one, but everybody ignores that. And it was hit or miss, but when it worked, it worked. So when Profoto came out with their little C1 Plus and C1, the C1 Plus connected to the Air remotes, and you can use it on your phone within their Profoto camera app, or you can use it with just your camera and the Air remotes. And it wasn't very powerful. The design of it was brilliant. It has the magnetic parts. And inside, the center light was for the LED, and the outside 5 lights were for the flash. And this too, you can flash in different color temperatures, 3,000 to 6,000, I don't know, whatever the numbers are. But they orchestrated this so well, like every single video was by someone they sent a C1 and a C1 Plus to, free, which was a big deal because this little light that wasn't very powerful, isn't very powerful, sold for $499. That's $500 for an LED that is this bright. Let's make sure that's powered up all the way so I don't, okay, that's powered up all the way. This bright. But it had a strobe, so no different in power, I don't believe. But since it flashed, it's unique, and they sang its praises. Now, I got one of these used off eBay shortly after they released them because it was somebody, and I got it for a really good price. I don't think I paid more than $100 for it, which at $100 this would have been a unique item and were kind of worth the money. But at $499 they sold tens of thousands of them because of their placement, because of their here's our free stuff if you want more free stuff. Without saying it out loud, obviously. This way they could say, hey, we're not being paid by them, but we got these shit for free. Anyway, so the point of this is be careful. These well-orchestrated campaigns, these are very well-orchestrated campaigns. This isn't just somebody randomly says, hey, can I borrow that to review it? They're reached out to, and they have very good placement. I remember when the Leica M11 came out, they specifically targeted different individuals than the normal Leica shooters. They had to, because the typical Leica shooters were like, well, there's no base plate on it, it's no good, it's not a true Leica. But sending it to new people that never used Leica and having them get that feeling of the Leica, they got decent reviews. It was well orchestrated and it worked for them. By the way, the Leicas, US service was incredible and were good. Anyway, but I just wanted to put this out there because these campaigns are well orchestrated. They're not just random. They don't just randomly send them out. People don't, and there are YouTubers that rent the stuff and give their personal and honest opinion. That's great. But if they ever want anything from the company, they're going to be kind because this is their business. The camera isn't their business. Photography isn't their business. Their business is pushing product. If they don't do it well and don't do a good job, they don't get the views on it, they're not going to get future cameras, or they won't get a future opportunity to go on a trip to see the new release. And that's their goal, and their goal is to make money, there's nothing wrong with that. Your job is to make sure you're doing photography instead of collecting cameras. If you want to be a photographer, be a photographer. Concentrate on your images and your work. Professionals have cameras from years and years and years ago. They're not on YouTube looking for what the next best thing is. They're just using what they have and creating great images. And the prosumer, the almost professional, the newbies, they want to find out what they should buy. And there's nothing wrong with that. But then there's a point where you go, okay, this camera's for me because I tried it and I love it. This lens is for me because I tried it and I love it. Now go shoot. Get the hell off of YouTube. Stop watching people like me and go out and shoot your own crap. Go enjoy yourself. Not to push you away from my channel or anything, but Anyway, that's my rant for the day. I just wanted to discuss it because all this came into play with the Sony A7R5, the C1 Plus, and I was just thinking, wow, like, you know, to sell 10,000 units of these of a light that's a considerably dim LED, even for the time that it was released, because it had a little of innovation that it could flash with your phone or your camera system. Now, again, I did shoot an event with this, and it works just fine in higher ISOs and, you know, low light kind of stuff. But, you know, for $500, no. $99, yeah, I think that'd be fantastic. They don't make these anymore. I don't think they do. If they do, I think they're at $250 the last time I checked, which was a while ago. And the same thing with the Rotolite. You know, it's marketing that makes these things roll. Now, this is a decent light. The Neo 3 is actually a decent light. But, you know, it really surprises me that, you know, that you can buy a Neo 1, which was $500 for $50. You could buy the Neo 2s for $100. The EOS, which was $1,500 new, I got for $200. You know, these are innovative lights that just were the cream of the crop. But the new ones come out, they drop down in price so much. Like, there's no value to the equipment that we buy anymore. You know, as soon as the next great thing comes out, they drop so much, we lose so much money on it. So stick with your equipment, use it, enjoy it, and, you know, be careful when you listen and watch this kind of stuff, because this kind of stuff and this kind of stuff, it's just well orchestrated marketing. They do their job and they do it well. I'm talking to the marketing companies for the companies. And they know who to send it out to get the right boost and the right info out there to get you to buy. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say today. Sorry for the rant, but I hope you have a great day.